kind of crazy. I look up here, I see my dear younger surrogate sister, who just made it to 30. And I think I'm too blessed to at least make it to my late 30s right now today. And, you know, we have to hold each other. We have to love each other. We have to check in with each other. You know, this pandemic has been so hard on creative spirits because it's hard to know how we can get through everyday lives. And these three people up here are major community builders. Okay? Major. So this person over here, Dan Lavoie, used to live next to me for 14 years. A lot of people in here know that. So he was on Albion Street, right here in Somerville, so you can walk to any of these in a few blocks. And just 2 blocks away from him, I lived on Low Street. And for 14 years, we opened up our homes to, there are people here who know this, hundreds upon hundreds of people. And we loved it. So where did this all go? People would come from TT and the Bears in the Middle East, right? Yep. James, I want you guys to chime in as I'm chatting, because we would go over to Dan's house, or people would come over to my house after the clubs, after the dancing, and we would eat and drink and be merry as I hope to do today. Sorry, I was cooking and cleaning and doing and very, whatever, the usual. But I start off with Dan first because, you know, that's who he was. He was an amazing photographer, but most and amazing DJ. Amazing musician, amazing spirit. But the most important thing for me was that he was an amazing community person. And so when he told me a few years ago, hey, I'm so happy, Parma. We've been going and we've been going and we've been going, Parma. But now, this young man was like, hey, I'm at an apple orchard. Right, guys? He was so happy in this apple orchard. And maybe 7 months ago, he came up to the Middle East and he said, hey, Parma, maybe I can have a photography store. I said, of course, we'll do it. And then a few months later, he's like, well, maybe we can do something at the Armory or the Middle East, but I'm doing so well. But it's hard when you don't have community checking up on you. So what I envision, and I don't know what you guys envision, but I'm looking forward to the speeches that come up today, and the many people who have already spoken among smaller groups today, and I know a lot of people will continue to come in the next few hours. Just the image of Dan walking through an apple orchard, and the apples falling down all around him, creating flowers is what I see in my dreams. And then maybe he doesn't really die for me in my dreams. Maybe just the apple just comes and shows, and then he disappears for a while. But maybe a new apple grows and he comes back. But I just want to thank my beautiful friend Dan Lavoie. I want to thank him for doing so much for Somerville. I want to thank him for making us dance with his DJ. I want to thank him for making us all look better in his photographs, because he's that good of a photographer. Thank you, Dan Lavoie. Over here is, and her family will be coming in soon, an extremely special person. And all these people are very special, but of course you see I put her right in front of me. You know, the Jewish culture is very similar, as anyone knows, to the Indian culture. Overbearing but loving parents, a culture full of food and fun, and I'm so thankful to Rachel's family for about 6 years ago kind of adopting me and my partner and bringing us around and doing things. So Rachel made this incredible work right over there for the Parmachai Gallery, and I hope you guys can take a second to look at that. And there's something very interesting. There's something very interesting and beautiful about this particular work. Because on this particular work, I don't have 5 fingers. I have 6. But I look at my hands and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But Rachel was born with a little stub.
Yeah, she told me about that.
Yeah, and her beautiful aunt is right here. Can we give her a big round of applause? So, Eliza, her mother, said, Rachel, you gave Parma a 6th finger. And Rachel said, shall I change it? I was like, absolutely not. Makes it way cooler. and she laughed, and she laughed, and she laughed, and she laughed. And Rachel, as we know, never wanted to be like anybody else, just like me. So of course I loved her. She was my little sister. She was my little sister. She would come here. She was inspired. She sold so many pieces of art at the beginning. Then she got a little lazy and I yelled at her as her big sister. I even told her parents, I'm mad at her. She needs to make more art for herself. But we used to lie with our arms around each other right upstairs in my apartment and talk about all our whims and our glories and all that kind of stuff. But Rachel Koppelman always came, and I encourage you to be inspired by your own stories and talk to all of us and come up to the mic, because she always had that giggle, right guys? She always had that giggle. She had this ridiculous poutine shirt, and I chose that on purpose. Do you guys know the story behind the poutine shirt? Well, at Firefly she said, you guys are being a little stuck up right now. Let's do this right. So she's like, I want poutine hot thrown on me while I have all sorts of leather over me. I'll pretend I'm being scalded. Ah! Anyways, people were like, that's terrible. That's not PC. I was like, since when is Firefly PC? But anyways, that's the story of poutine. But Rachel gave a lot. Rachel was that person who was always this bubblicious person, right guys? She ran around and she hugged you and she created that energy. If things were boring, Rachel would put a stop to that. You know, why are things boring, guys? What's going on? So the Diet Cokes would come and the Skittles, and she loved Indian food. So I put little pictures up about the Indian food. She's like, why didn't you invite me? So I just wanted to say Rachel is an amazing, versatile artist. I talk about it in the present tense because she's here. She is here every day. I feel her on my porch. I feel her through this art. I feel her through here, and I hope she continues to grow and grow and grow and grow. And you know, the cupcakes are pink on purpose because she's pink and purple, and she grows like irises and everything beautiful. And over here,